The UFC has had fighters through generation after generation who have literally had the sport of MMA in the palms of their hands, having an aura of invincibility that no one else has had in their generation, from the likes of Chuck Liddell through to Anderson Silva, and of course, and evidently Conor McGregor as well, through either their ridiculous KO power they have, their technical capabilities, or and their ability to entertain fans on the microphone. But then the next day, we see that that seemingly invincible aura is stripped from them, whether it be through being brutally finished, a life-changing injury, or just them spiraling out of control. So in this video, I want to look at the most notable fighters in the sport right now and rate how strong their aura is through 5 tiers. Now, in at number 1, we have the God tier aura. Pretty self-explanatory. These guys are literally all over the MMA space. No one can shut up about them, whether it's their persona or whether it's the performances they are putting on. Then at 2, down a bit. I mean, that's not where they're at the headlines all the time, but they are flying high. They are flying high in terms of having a very credible name. Whenever they fight on a fight card, they have a lot of cheers and they just have that momentum behind them. No matter if they are losing or they are winning, the fans just love them. Now, right in the middle, the mortal tier, we have pretty much just borderline safe. I mean, they're not like the, you know, the be all end all fighter. Maybe they've kind of fallen a little bit, maybe gone on a bit of a lost streak, and now they're kind of down in that mortal tier where they aren't seen as this great fighter, but they're also not down to the point where, you know, they're really being made fun of in the MMA space, where that's where we look at fall from grace tier at number 4, where we can see fighters really being made fun of, being picked on in the MMA space, and they have really just fallen off from a point that they were at. And at 5, we have the Belal Muhammad tier. Do I need to say any more when it comes to that tier? Come on. Now, the fighters that are included here are guys that are the top fighters in each division that are making waves in the MMA space, whether it be through their incredible performances or their controversial and attractive personas on the microphone, or both of them at the same time. So without further ado, let's get into the tier list to see which fighters have the most aura in the sport, or are boys with the great Belal, remember the decision, Muhammad. And here is the tier list. We have the God tier aura, as you can see, flying high, mortal, fall from grace, and Belal Muhammad. Now, we have got a fair few fighters here, as you can see on the screen. We've got about 30 odd fighters here. They're all the top fighters. So without further ado, let's get into it. Straight at the top, we got Alex Pereira, man. This guy, absolute beast. I mean, he's the face of the damn sport at the moment. I mean, it doesn't even matter if he speaks English or not. I mean, Sharma is just fucking Sharma. The guy is just knocking out absolutely everyone. He's got Yuri, Jamal, Khalil. I mean, he's looked fantastic. He was fighter of the year last year. I mean, even when I was at UFC 312, holy crap. I mean, to meet this guy, there was security all around him, even though he doesn't need it. But the line to see him was like 2 kilometers long. It was ridiculous. There was like 3,000 to 4,000 people in that line alone. And the event was like 18,000 people, which is just ridiculous, showing how much pull Alex Pereira has. And ultimately, from a macro point of view, in such a small amount of time, absolute God tier aura. Literally all the guy needs to say is Charmer, and he is literally top of the sport. Pretty safe there. I wonder. Yeah. I don't think we even need to explain Belal. I'm not gonna lie, which is kind of funny. He can get out of his own tier if he literally keeps defending this damn belt. And we have just had announced JDM versus Belal. It's not Shavkat anymore, which has thrown a spanner in the works for my predictions because Shavkat's now injured. And Belal, honestly, has a pretty strong chance of winning that fight. And if he beats JDM and beats like one more guy, well, the guy is going all the way from here to probably fall from grace. Pretty incredible, honestly. But yeah, we're keeping him in his own division right now. So moving on, we got Leon Edwards, who, like, look, the guy isn't so much better. I mean, he literally lost to Bilal, so kind of sounds a bit hypocritical in this sense, but when it comes to aura for Leon Edwards, man, like, he just doesn't have the persona. He's kind of like, he's pretty two-dimensional, stiff as a board when it comes to, you know, just being colorful. When it comes to interviews, he's very monotone. I mean, there's just not much there. Bilal finished him. I mean, if he loses again, we're probably honestly going like straight down into like fall from grace. But I'm gonna put Leon in mortal. I'm just putting him in mortal because that head kick of Kamaru Usman literally keeps him afloat. So, you know, on the mic side of things and just like building a fight, pretty dusty, unless you just see that highlight of the Kamaru Usman knockout. He's a great fighter, but yeah, in terms of actual aura, there's not a whole lot there. Now, Sean O'Malley, guy definitely has aura. Now, if we didn't have Merab, he would be in God tier. He would be in God tier aura. He pulls a very specific fan base. I mean, he's got all the younger audience because he's the guy with the colorful hair. As a casual, you're just normally going to gravitate to the guy with colorful hair, colorful tattoos, and literally just strikes. I mean, that is a casual's fucking dream. So he's definitely got the aura, but from Merab, I got to put him in flying high. He's definitely flying high. He's still got a lot of stock in him. And I mean, it's just tricky because, yes, he got beaten by Merab, but he got beaten by Merab at the Sphere, which is arguably like the biggest event for the year, and he got taken out literally in the main event of it, and it was a pretty lackluster main event. He got controlled for a lot of that fight. But if he stayed undefeated, he'd definitely be God tier aura because he does have that fan base. He's got that fan-friendly style as well. Now, America, Sean Strickland. This guy, man, seriously, like, if we're looking in like him beating Izzy 293 period, he would be in that God tier, to be honest. But similar to O'Malley, he is flying high. He's dropped down because UFC 312, don't get me wrong, like, the crowd was pro Strickland. Like, when he came out, when he was at the ceremonial weigh-in, so the crowd was definitely on his side, and that's obviously from his fantastic performance from UFC 293 and him just being as bogan in an American sense as most of Australians. So he's definitely got the fan base, a very specific fan base, obviously, and he's great on the microphone. You know, he's a realist. People love that. But you look at UFC 312, I mean, he's kind of all bark, no bite, in the sense of, yeah, we're going to fucking war, man, but then he jabs and teeps for 25 minutes, and he was pretty much scared of DDP for 3 full rounds because he was worried about getting knocked out. Then he gets his nose broken, and he's on the back foot the whole entire time. So I'm dropping him down a peg. He's going to be in that flying high aura tier. Definitely kept there because of the fan base that he does bring. Now, one that does annoy me, Pantoja, I'm a huge fan of Pantoja. Absolutely love this guy. He deserves so much more credit than he gets. He has been in a war like every single fucking fight that he has ever been in. And when he isn't in a war, he is literally dominating his opposition like he dominated Kai Asakura. Like, if he wasn't in flyweight, the guy 100% would be in God tier because he has amazing fights all the damn time. He's just like, honestly, the guy is an underrated icon. Like, he's gonna be in flying high for me. He definitely has a fan base for sure. I mean, Brazilians especially, huge fan base over there. And man, he's just a very, very good fighter that is flying under the radar. Literally, if anyone deserves double champ status out of literally anyone, it is Pantoja, and Islam right next to him. But no one talks about Pantoja getting that compared to Islam because he's a flyweight. Like, it's a bit of bullshit, but man, the guy honestly deserves the credit. And if he was any heavier, he would be God tier. Now, Ian Gary, if it wasn't for the shove cut performance, the guy would honestly arguably be like below Muhammad tier, to be honest. He would probably be around there. But with that shove cut performance, funnily enough, the guy loses his O and then gains more fans because people thought that Shavkat was going to absolutely run through him easily, and he put on a fantastic performance. It was a very, very close fight. It was really just carving up Shavkat's legs. Had him in the most dangerous situation with a rear naked choke. Ian Garry looked fantastic in that fight, and that's where you could put him in flying high, but you can't forget the cuck story. The cuck story. He doesn't really do himself many favors when it comes to that. I mean, we've seen MMA Guru, we've seen the MMA space just absolutely shit on him, and MMA fans love carnage. And MMA fans are what really make or break Aura. And Ian Garry, when it comes to those fans, there aren't a huge amount of them. So the guy has got to be in that fall from grace tier. I mean, he's not really falling from grace in a sense, because he never was at the top, but he's in that position where he's lower than all the guys above him. Now, moving on, Henry Triple C Cejudo, who is fighting this weekend, which isn't great. I mean, definitely check out my predictions video if you haven't already. I do speak about why he is going to lose this fight, and that's going to make him 0-3, and I believe he's going to get chinned. And look, he was a great double champion. I mean, and the fact that he was a double champion, there's aura there regardless when he retires. I mean, you know, he retired in the worst time that he could have, literally in the prime of his career at 33 years old. I don't know why he did it. And his aura has just dropped and dropped and dropped since losing to Aljo, then Marab. I mean, if he loses to Song, which I do think he will, and he gets chinned, it's not looking good at all. He's probably going to be down here, but gotta put him in that fall from grace point even now, because he's just on a losing streak. If he retired of that double champ status, he would be here. He would be at the flying high, period. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's cringe as shit, but double champs is double champ status. People respect that regardless of what their persona is. So I'm going to put him in fall from grace. And we're not getting any better here. Jamal Hill, join your boy Bilal, man. Like, the guy has just been fucking ruined. Like, Alex Pereira completely destroyed this guy's existence. I mean, Jamal had a lot of aura. I mean, he was knocking out everyone. I mean, did in Jimmy Crute, did in Johnny Walker. I mean, the Johnny Walker KO got him so much aura. Like, he was up there. People were like, holy shit, this guy's got power. And then he had the war with Glover Teixeira as well. He looked fantastic, literally up to the point where Pereira got hit in the nuts, did not give a shit, and then chinned him. And then Jamal Hill, if he literally didn't say anything, he would be up a bit higher, probably around that mortal period, that mortal tier. But the fact that he made excuses, he was going on consistent rants, his bloody his social media got flooded by charmers. Literally, when he posts about his family, I mean, there was just charmer everywhere, like Alex Pereira fanboys just flooding him, just suffocating him, and that was his own fault. And yeah, the fans just don't like him. And then he's just lost to Yuri as well, which he handled better, but it doesn't do anything better for his aura, honestly. Now, flipping up all the way to the other end, we got Khamzat Chimaev. This guy has got god tier aura. This guy, I mean, he's been in some tricky situations in terms of like the scandal he's been in, as well as the inactivity. The inactivity has definitely lost him some fans, but when the guy steps in the cage, I mean, all of that just goes out the fucking window, because he is an absolute killer. He is like an absolute boogeyman. And honestly, like what he did to Whitaker, that just had my jaw, I probably shouldn't say jaw drop, that's a bit sensitive, but yeah, he just shocked me. I mean, he just looked absolutely fantastic, ran through Robert Whitaker. He's pretty much run through almost everyone, and if he hasn't run through them, he's gone to an absolutely amazing war with Gilbert Burns. So the guy, I mean, he's got that god tier aura, especially just with his persona, the way he speaks on the mic, you know, like, I'm the king, I'm the champ, I kill everybody. That whole persona, that is just god tier personified aura. He is sick. Now, one that hurts, moving to Izzy. Izzy, I mean, the guy is still a GOAT. Like, he is a legend, but, you know, losing 3 fights in a row, it's really hard for me to see. He is my favorite fighter. He got me into the sport. I think just with him being such a, you know, staple in the middleweight division in terms of being the arguable GOAT of that division, I think no matter what, he is going to be flying high, but I got to put him at the end, and he would be close to the top of mortal, to be honest. It's just, it's hard to see, but I mean, it's loss after loss after loss. And when we're looking at him against, you know, his next opposition, people are looking at him as being more mortal. So that's where he would fit into there. But him having, you know, one of the most active title runs, people don't forget that, and he's got fans for life. So 100% flying high. I mean, he has cemented his status, you know, in the UFC Hall of Fame. So he's definitely there. Now, Kamaru Usman, guys, it like pretty much in the same boat, really. I mean, he's I mean, you know, he had a fantastic fight against Chimaev on short notice. I would probably put, at this point, I'd put Usman above Izzy, to be honest, because Usman's just showed a bit more. I mean, being 2 weeks short notice against Khamzat Chimaev, and arguably should have taken that to a draw. That really should have been a draw if you're 10-8ing, if Usman's getting 10-8 in that first round, because Usman arguably won the last 2 rounds. And I mean, aside from getting head kicked by Leon, I mean, before that, he was God tier aura for sure. But yeah, I think that's just the point where he needs another fight, because I mean, he's getting old and we need to see that more. He's going to drop down a bit more and more, but I mean, he's a guy just like Izzy. When we look at his performances, I mean, the guy's the arguable GOAT of welterweight, so you got to be putting him in that staple aura, that flying high. Now, Dricus du Plessis at the moment, the guy has definitely got aura. I mean, he is obviously the talk of the town at middleweight along with Khamzat. And I mean, it's kind of weird with Dricus, because we look at comments about him and people are just saying he is the most like clumsy, retarded fighter that you've ever seen. I'm just like, I don't know if that's necessarily getting him like aura, or if people are actually just making fun of him. Like, he's just like, he's a bulldozer. He's just winning fights, but people are like, how the fuck is he winning these fights? So he is, he's the middleweight champion. We can't argue with that. And with that goofy style, I mean, he is very entertaining, but there's something about Khamzat, man. Like, he's just that, his tone, and like when he walks into a room where he's in a fight, like the atmosphere is just different. So I'm gonna put Dricus at the top of flying high. I think he's more talked about than Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's on a bit of a hiatus at the moment, so Dricus is probably around the top of the flying high. Now, Tom Aspinall, this guy is definitely in God tier aura. I mean, he is the most feared fighter pretty much on this entire planet at the moment, and he's got John Jones running. So yeah, that's pretty much all we need to say about Tom Aspinall. He is just a freak of nature. He is an absolute freak of nature, and yeah, he can honestly probably beat anyone, in my opinion. I just don't see anyone beating him, and the fans obviously are very drawn to that in terms of like, who the hell is going to beat this guy? He is an absolute beast. And I mean, aside from, you know, talking about fingering Nina, that's probably dropped him a few points, I mean, he's pretty much perfect. Now, another one that's at the top, Islam Makhachev. Islam is a beast. He is going to be in that. I'll probably put him in second. I mean, Islam, most lightweight title defenses. I mean, fan favorite as well. Huge following in the Middle East, and obviously, you know, Russia, everywhere like that. I mean, he's got a huge fan base there with the Muslims, and he's been in some good wars like with Dustin Poirier, Alexander Volkanovski, and we can't forget, he is the pound for pound #1. So he has definitely got the aura there. He is a absolute beast. Now, Justin Gaethje, this one I'm going to do all in a row. We got Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Charles Oliveira. These guys are all in flying high, and these guys are all, honestly, I'm probably going to put them all here. At the moment, putting them all here. And I'm going to put Charles at the top. Charles is going to be at the top, and then I think these guys are pretty much interchangeable. Charles, because, I mean, he's beaten them both. I mean, he has literally got a ridiculous fan base all around the world, and the guy doesn't speak a fucking lick of English. And he's got the most finishes. I mean, he is just one of the most loved characters in MMA. And when I was, lining up to see him at UFC 312, the line was like fucking kilometer long. Like he's got aura, I'll tell you that. Now, Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, obviously these guys are veterans. I mean, they are always exciting when they're on fight cards. People literally scream for them. They are definitely flying high in that aura department. Now, if this was a few years ago when we look at DP and Justin Gaethje fighting like Khabib, they would be in god tier aura. Especially with Gaethje before he got KO'd by Max Holloway and Gaethje KOing Dustin Poirier. And then we got Charles. I mean, Charles would be god tier aura for sure. I mean, he was god tier aura 100% before the Islam finish as well, and the Arman decision loss too. So definitely fair that they're flying high. Now, moving on, we have Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat, this guy's, I mean, we're really piling on heavy here, but yeah, Shavkat, he's definitely in that flying high tier. I mean, undefeated beast, only gone to a decision once now, but I'm kind of lowering him a bit more. He would be higher, but the mortality was shown a bit against Ian Gary. He did get hurt in that fight, and he went to a decision for the first time in his career. Which the fact that is something that changes him is ridiculous. Like just the fact that, oh my God, Shavkat's gone to a decision. Yes, he's still won it, but oh my God, he's gone to a decision. That shows aura because the guy just finishes absolutely everyone and he makes it brutal. I mean, he has got, when he's healed, he's got a very high likelihood of winning that title as well. So definitely flying high. And who's joining him? We got Max Holloway. I'm putting him above Strickland. And Volkanovski. These guys are in the flying high as well. These guys are absolute legends of the game. Actually, they're going above O'Malley for sure. Put Volk above Holloway because I'm completely biased. I mean, you probably can't. Oh, actually, no, you can see the Volkanovski there. There you go. Yeah, I'm completely biased, but they do deserve the flying high tier in all seriousness. I mean, if Holloway didn't get finished by Ilya, he would be god tier. If Volk didn't get finished by Islam, well, to be honest, the Islam one, he'd probably still be god tier, to be honest. But the Topuria loss did knock him down a peg. He's definitely more mortal now. And yeah, they're just legends of the game. Both of these guys are extremely great role models for the sport, especially not just for the sport, like for fighters coming up, but for just males in general and how I feel like you should act and whatnot. I mean, don't mean to get like political and all that shit, but I think they both are just great role models in how you display attitude in a sport. They're just very good sportsmen, and yeah, you can't hate either of these guys. You're literally just weird as fuck if you hate either of these dudes. Now, Ilya on the other side, this guy, oh yeah, he is god tier aura for sure. He's probably even with Islam, to be honest. He's, borderline impenetrable at this point. I mean, very well-rounded, super dangerous. I mean, he's gotten a bit of flack for the Conor McGregor mimicking, now he's even moving up a division, vacating the belt, more kind of Conor McGregor storyline, even though he hates Conor McGregor. So yeah, kind of interesting there, but a lot of fans kind of make fun of him with that. And he, honestly, along with Alex Pereira, he's in the media the most. So yeah, he's definitely got that god tier persona, beating Volkanovski, beating Max Holloway. Yeah, the guy has got damn aura. Now, Yuri Prochazka, this guy, I mean, look, Yuri, his aura did go down a bit after losing to Alex Pereira twice. I mean, when his bloody samurai hair broke, that's when literally aura started seeping out of him, which was sad to see. But I mean, he's just come back. He's beaten Jamal. I mean, fans absolutely love him in the most unique, autistic way possible. This guy has the aura. I mean, training in the woods, being in the darkness for like 3-4 days with no food. This guy is just fucking hilarious. Like, he's honestly so good. I gotta put him in flying high. He'd probably be at that lower point. I'd probably put Pantoja around here. Then Izzy, yeah, they'll probably be about there. I think Strickland's just a bit more popular than them at the moment. Now, looking at Conor McNuggets McGregor, this is going to be controversial because I know there's a lot of diehard fans out there for McGregor, but the guy is just spiraling out of control at the moment. This guy is just falling from grace. I mean, he honestly, he's never fighting again. I mean, yeah, he said things about BKFC, whatever. I mean, he's highly doubt he's going to be fighting in that. Conor McGregor pretty much gets chinned by anyone, like, especially in the UFC. Like, anyone that he fights is either going to absolutely drown him on the ground, or he's going to get so knackered by the second to the third round, he is going to get chinned again. Like, I mean, he's just on a cocaine bender. He's, you know, really suspicious when it comes to shit with his wife. Like, he's just not looking great. I mean, he's gone to the fucking Donald Trump inauguration, and he's literally trying to, you know, pick a fight with Logan Paul in the middle of the damn street, and then he's just like literally getting roasted by them while he's sitting next to their mum. Like, I mean, like, how do you go from fighting Eddie Alvarez, beating the shit out of him, taking out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds, being the first double champ, to then arguing with Logan Paul and getting made fun of? Like, that is, if that's not like the biggest fall from grace, I don't know what the hell is. Like, and if he keeps going, man, put him right next to my boy Bilal Muhammad, because he is just honestly washed. Now, Sergey Pavlovich, I mean, he's not getting much better from this point from McGregor. One more poor performance and the aura is completely gone. Like, he has fallen from grace, to be honest. He was like, literally before Aspinall, the guy was literally in God tier. Like, everyone was fucking scared of him. Like, and rightfully so. I mean, the boxing, just the brute strength, like the way he just dismantled everyone with that high speed boxing. Now, after bloody Aspinall, I mean, he's, you know, gun shy against Volkov. I mean, he looked terrible against Rosenstruik. If he has one, like, not even if he just, like, you know, gets finished, if he just has like just a poor performance in terms of even winning a decision, just like he did against Rosenstruik, yeah, the guy is just, yeah, no one's gonna care anymore, to be honest. Now, Johnny Bones Jones, this one's debatable because, yes, he's the arguable GOAT of MMA, you know, I mean, he's undefeated, but the guy is just riddled with shit outside the cage, like absolutely riddled, like with just drug test shit. I mean, you've got the problems with the police. I mean, he's been a nightmare for law enforcement. You know, PEDs. He's, yeah, not been ideal in the slightest. But the weird thing is, it kind of gives him aura more so. I mean, it gives him negative aura, which still gets people talking about him at the end of the day. And that is what aura is. So I'm going to put him at the end of God tier aura, but that's why I'm not putting him any higher, because the guy is literally ducking Tom Aspinall. I mean, and that is with people making fun of him because of that. The guy has a duck with a UFC belt wrapped around it for his Instagram profile picture. I mean, I can't put him any higher if he's got that. Let's be honest here. Now, a rogue shout we got here is Manel Kape. Now, Manel Kape, this guy, obviously flyweight, it's a bit of a struggle there, but the guy is so damn controversial. I mean, he has got microphone skills for days. He has got the worst form of, you know, angry short man syndrome that there possibly is. But he gets the attention. I mean, he is flying high. Like, at the moment, honestly, he could honestly be here, to be honest. He's got a lot of people talking about him. He's got a lot of people on his bad side. It's kind of that negative aura, but I mean, the guy performs. I mean, holy moly, he performs. In his last fight, he just absolutely annihilated. He was in complete flow state in that fight. Absolutely fantastic. And if he's putting performances on like that, the guy could possibly win a title. Like, he is looking very good, and people are really getting drawn to him from not only obviously the microphone stuff, like the controversy there, but the performances he's putting on top of it. Yeah, it's looking great there. Now, Colby Covington. Colby, fall from grace. I mean, gift of the gab, 100%. And if this was before Leon Edwards, he would be flying high for sure. I mean, you know, very, very just good on the mic. The most controversial, arguably the most controversial fighter, along with John Jones, in the whole entire history of MMA. I mean, he is, yeah. The gift of the gab is bloody dangerous. Now, him having the Leon L and the Buckley L, it's just not ideal, and he's getting older, and you can tell that fans are drawing away from him. You can tell that Colby is, especially with ducking, Colby with ducking fighters is a big issue, and that has been clear and evident. Like, the guy's not going to fight like Carlos Prates or like Michael Morales or anyone like that up there. Like, he will literally try and find the easiest fight. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's really going to try and hunt Wonderboy. Just because Wonderboy is like 43 now, like he's getting old. He wants those easier matchups because Colby is so articulate on the microphone. If he gets an easy matchup, he can articulate his way to a very advantageous position in the rankings. I am so confident in that because he's done it time and time and time again. He had like 3 consecutive title fights, which were completely not deserved. But I mean, he made it happen. I mean, he manipulated the system, and credit to him, but that time's running out now. So yeah, he's in the fall from grace tier. But if he gets a good win and get pumped back up, I mean, we could look at him at flying high again, but I highly doubt it. Now, Merab, the machine. The machine does not stop. This guy now, he's up there. I'd probably put him here, to be honest. Actually, man, right now, I'd probably put him above Hamzat, to be honest. The guy just doesn't stop. I mean, he's, you know, got the success in the octagon. He's got the funny skits. He's got a lot more fans now, you know, especially from being so hated from when he fought Jose Aldo, just humping him against the cage for 15 minutes. I mean, what he's been able to do and the resume that's really reflected and people really taking notice of it. I mean, especially after him beating Umar as a 3-1 underdog. Got to give credit where credit's due. I had Umar. But yeah, Merab is just proving me wrong and wrong and wrong. I mean, beat Sean O'Malley as well on arguably the biggest stage. Yeah, Merab, I mean, not super fan-friendly style, but the guy is, yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, he is honestly just a massive fan favorite at this point, and that's down to his performances and definitely some form of autism, that's for sure. Now, Umar, the guy he lost to, Umar, who lost to Merab, Umar, I mean, the Nurmagomedov name does carry him. He's still flying high. I'd probably, annoyingly enough, put him above Pantoja. He's still flying high. He's definitely got that aura there. I mean, he's one of the most dangerous finishers, versatile finishers in the bantamweight division, and people know that 100%. It's just the gas tank that let him down when it came to that Merab fight, but anyone's gas tank is going to let them down against Merab because it's literally unlimited. So Umar, I mean, he's beaten Corey Sandhagen, looked fantastic in that fight. He's a credible fighter, and he's always going to have that aura about him because of his surname, but he has been knocked down a peg because he probably would have been higher in the flying high tier. He wouldn't be God tier, but he's higher in that. But now he's definitely dropped a peg because of Merab. Now, Diego Lopez. Ooh, Diego's tricky. Diego's really, really tricky up there because I don't know if I want to put him in God tier aura or not. I don't know if I want to put him in God tier aura flying high because he was like the prospect of the year, like the hottest prospect of the year last year. I mean, and he's got the haircut aura as well. You know, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I'm going to put him at the bottom of God tier aura. He's got the finish potential. He was fantastic on UFC 306, which was the Sphere. Looked fantastic on there. Piece Brian Ortega up. I mean, he's shown great dynamic striking. He's got the strike speed. His jiu-jitsu is absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, he's got the shitty tattoo on his chest. He's got the haircut. I mean, he is just super entertaining, and seems like a lovely guy, and that's what people are drawn to as well. So I'll put him at the bottom of God tier aura, possibly the top of flying high, but yeah, I'm kind of liking the way that he's talked about, probably like a little bit more than Dricus. They're probably honestly neck and neck, and they've both got the momentum on their sides as well. Now, Movsar Evloev, if this was any time earlier, he would be in like this Bilal Muhammad tier. But the performance that he showed against Aljamain Sterling was fantastic. He looked incredible. I mean, the wrestling, just it really just shows the levels and pedigree of this guy's wrestling. Like, I would love to see him versus Ilya. We're not going to see it now, but just in terms of him versus Ilya in a wrestling perspective, I think Movsar could actually out wrestle him. Like, Movsar is a beast with the wrestling. Now, Can't take away though from the decisions. The decisions, he is a decision king, and that's what people are always going to realize. But looking at how much he's like flown through the rankings and the performance he put up against Aljo, you know, he's not in any of those negative tiers. I'm happily going to put him in that mortal tier, but if he's winning any more fights, people are going to really change their tune on Movsar Evloev, especially if the guy gets a damn finish. But, you know, that's easier said than done. Now, Paddy Pimblett, I mean, you get a walkout with this guy, people are going to be cheering like absolute crazy. I mean, he's got the song, you know, he's got that kind of like weird kind of fruity persona, and, you know, there's definitely a audience for that. And I mean, he's arguable with Tom Aspinall, probably honestly even more so than Tom Aspinall. He's the most popular fighter out of England, and, you know, he's been doing very, very well. I mean, he's kind of been cherry picked at points, but he's got Michael Chandler coming up. So if he gets past him, man, like if he finishes Chandler easy, we could be looking at God tier aura. But I've got to put him in flying high. Now, where do I put him? Paddy's got aura. Paddy's definitely got aura. I probably put him just below Sean Strickland, I think. I think just there, I mean, just in terms of activity-wise, I think that's where it does fall off a tiny bit. So, I mean, because he hasn't fought in about 8 months or so. So once he gets back into it and he fights Chandler, if he beats him, yeah, he's popping up for sure. Now, lastly, we got Cyril Gane. I love Cyril Gane, honestly, my favorite heavyweight. But I'm not playing biases here. He has had a fall from grace. The problem with Cyril Gane is the attitude with the Volkov fight. He hasn't been super active. I mean, the aura definitely dropped from John Jones just taking him out in 1 round. And, you know, he's just never been the guy to get that title. And he's got those ground game weaknesses overall that we obviously is evident from John Jones beating him and even Francis controlling him. But with a good finish and him really showing that kickboxing, he definitely can get back up. I would have put him in mortal, but after that Volkov fight, gotta put him in fall from grace. So yeah, that's the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now, I would really like to hear what you guys think of the tier list, where you guys would put people in this tier list. I'm very interested to hear about that and your reasons why, because I absolutely love chatting to you guys in the comments. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. It really goes a long way for the channel, and I'll leave a video on the screen for you guys to check out, and I will catch you in the next one.